It went through. Yeah. It looks like we are live on Facebook, Twitch, and X for the very first time. So since we're live on X, y'all need to go follow me on X, LFR Family. Follow me right now. What's going on, guys? Welcome back. I am Van, and we are all the LFR family, man. I appreciate y'all pulling up per usual. Y'all are absolutely phenomenal. I do realize that I am about to cover an interview that everyone has already covered. You've seen it before. You've probably seen it 2, 3, 4, 5 times already. But it was so short and delicious that you're like, I'll watch it again with Van. I'll watch it one more time with Van. And I appreciate that, man. Thank y'all so much. Sweet Angel, Schumacher, Lisa Marie, thank you for pulling up. Those are my blues. Those are my moderators. They're absolutely phenomenal. Always help. So dope. But thank you so much for pulling up, guys. The only price of admission for my live streams is to simply hit the like button. If you're feeling extra generous, consider hitting the share button below the video, copying the link and sharing it on Reddit, LinkedIn, inside of Facebook groups, on X. Okay, we about to get to it, baby. Oh man, we about to get to it. Now, I was about to hit y'all with some snippets, some highlights of the interview. I was about to talk about points of the interview, but nah, I'm not going to short y'all on this. We're gonna cover the entire thing, and I'm gonna talk my sugar honey iced tea. I'm gonna try not to be too talkative because y'all already know Van can go when I start running my mouth. And plus, I want y'all to consider this. I'm a novice when it comes to politics. All right. I buried my head in the sand for many, many, many years because I didn't want to look at the news. I thought it was negative. I always voted blue no matter who, didn't really pay attention to policy. I figured, if I vote blue, they'll take care of it because everybody else that I know is voting blue, my coworkers, my friends, my relatives, everybody, especially when they're black. But let me be clear. Trump did it. Before we start the interview between Brett Baer, because this thing is crazy. I'm excited to check it out, although I know that I'm gonna catch some heat for it. All right, let's get into it. But first, let's play this one clip right here where Kamala just constantly blames the man of the hour, who is this guy holds real estate. I mean, it's crazy already that he does real estate. He's a real estate mogul, but he holds real estate rent-free in her mind because watch what she does the entire interview. Hold on one second. Then we're going to get to this, only 15 seconds. Check this out.
Donald Trump and Donald Trump, 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 and Donald Trump, Donald Trump,
President Biden at a fundraiser debate stage.
Let's go back to Donald Trump, Donald Trump, Donald Trump, Donald Trump, Donald Trump, and Donald Trump, 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 and Donald Trump, Donald Trump,
President Biden at a fundraiser debate stage.
Let's go back to Donald Trump.
Okay, so clearly she was talking about Donald Trump the entire time, but I'm not going to waste any time because this is a long interview. Let's go ahead and cover it again, guys. I told y'all I'm gonna try my best not to interject as much as possible. I'm gonna try my best to stay, to allow them to cook, allow them to talk, allow them to do their thing. But honestly, when I watched it because I was hoping, and I'm always hoping, that a potential president of the United States would do a great job because she can win. She could potentially win. I don't know if y'all saw the conversation between Trump and Patrick Bet-David on Valuetainment today, which was an absolutely dope conversation between these two businessmen. And I doubt, man, if Kamala was in the room and was a third leg, she was just a part of the conversation, she would have been lost in the sauce. She wouldn't have been able to get in there, man. It would have been like double dutch. I don't know if you ladies are familiar with jumping double dutch, but it would have been very difficult for her to jump in the conversation and start, and know what she's doing. But let's go ahead and cover this. Brett Baer, everyone thought that he was going to go light on her because I don't know, because they invited her to Fox and they figured that they would do her that service. But It wasn't that at all, man. It wasn't that at all. So let's go and jump into it, man. This is going to be dope. Let's get it. Let's get it. And again, guys, the only price of admission for my live streams is to simply hit the like button. Thank you so much. All right, let's go.
Madam Vice President, thank you for the time.
Thank you. It's good to be with you, Brett.
You know, voters tell pollsters all over the country and here in Pennsylvania that immigration is one of the key issues that they're looking at this election, and specifically the influx of illegal immigrants from more than 150 countries. How many illegal immigrants would you estimate your administration has released into the country over the last 3.5 years?
Well, I'm glad you raised the issue of immigration because I agree with you. It is a topic of discussion that people want to rightly have. And you know what I'm going to talk about.
Yeah, but
right
do you,
now,
just a
which
number, do you think it's 1 million, 3 million?
Brett, let's just get to the point. Okay, the point is,
That's what he's trying to do, god dang it. He got straight to the point. He got straight to the point. What do you mean, let's just get to the point? That's what he wanted to do. I'm sorry, guys. Yeah, I told you I wasn't going to talk too much. I'm not going to talk too much. But he tried to get straight to the point. Okay, be quiet, man.
that we have a broken immigration system that needs to be repaired.
So your
And-
Homeland Security Secretary said that
Well, no,
85%
but
of
I'm not
apprehensions.
finished. I'm not finished. We have
It's a
an
rough
immigration
estimate of
system
6 million people
that
have been
needs to be-
released into the country. And let me just finish. I'll get to the question, I promise you.
I was beginning to answer.
And when you came into office, your administration immediately reversed a number of Trump border policies. Most significantly, the policy that required illegal immigrants to be detained through deportation, either in the U.S. or in Mexico. And you switched that policy. They were released from custody awaiting trial. So instead, included in those were a large number of single men, adult men, who went on to commit heinous crimes. So looking back, do you regret the decision to terminate Remain in Mexico at the beginning of your administration?
At the beginning of our administration, within practically hours of taking the oath, the first bill that we offered Congress, before we worked on infrastructure, before the Inflation Reduction Act, before the CHIPS and Science Act, before the bipartisan Safer Communities Act, the first bill, practically within hours of taking the oath, was a bill to fix our immigration system.
Yes, ma'am. It was called the U.S. Citizenship Act of 2021. It was essentially a pathway to citizenship for the. Yes, ma'am.
May I finish responding, please?
But
you have to let me finish.
you had the
please.
White House and the House and the Senate,
I'm
and they
in the
didn't
middle
bring up
of
that bill.
responding to the point you're raising,
Okay.
and I'd like to finish.
Yes, ma'am.
We recognized from day one that, to the point of this being your first question, it is a priority for us as a nation and for the American people. And our focus has been on fixing a problem. And from day one, then, we have done a number of things, including to address our asylum system and put more resources, getting more judges, what we needed to do to tighten up penalties and increase penalties for illegal crossings, what we needed to do to deal with points of entry between border entry points. That's the work we did. And we worked on supporting what was a bipartisan effort, including some of the most conservative members of the United States Congress, to actually strengthen the border. That border bill would have put 1,500 more border agents at the border, which is why I believe the Border Patrol agents supported the bill. It would have allowed us to stem the flow of fentanyl coming into the United States, which is a scourge affecting people of every background, every geographic location in our country, killing people. It would have allowed us to put more resources into prosecuting transnational criminal organizations, which I have done as the Attorney General, former Attorney General of a border state.
Madam Vice President, a couple of things.
Prosecuted trafficking of drugs, guns, and human beings. And Donald Trump, but let me just finish.
6 Democrats voted against that bill.
Learned about that bill and told them to kill it because he'd prefer to run on a problem instead of fixing a problem. And in this election, this is rightly a discussion that the American people want to have. And what they want are solutions, and they want a president of the United States who's not playing political games with the issue,
I hear you.
but actually is focused on fixing it.
6 Democrats voted against that bill. It would have allowed 1.8 million illegal immigrants into the country a year. A lot of conservatives had a problem with it. These are the 6 Democrats. But more importantly, back to the original premise, Jocelyn Nungary, Rachel Morin, Laken Riley, they are young women
Yes.
who were brutally assaulted and killed by some of the men who were released at the beginning of the administration, well before a negotiated bipartisan bill. Former President Clinton actually referred to Laken Riley Sunday campaigning for you in Georgia, saying if those men had been properly vetted, Laken Riley probably would not have been killed. So if it wouldn't have happened, this is well before any negotiation. This is well before Donald Trump got involved in the politics. This is a specific policy decision by your administration to release these men into the country. So what I'm saying to you, do you owe
Brett,
those families an apology?
Let me just say, first of all, those are tragic cases. There's no question about that. There's no question about that. And I can't imagine the pain that the families of those victims have experienced for a loss that should not have occurred. So that is true. It is also true that if a border security had actually been passed 9 months ago, it would be 9 months that we would have had more border agents at the border, more support for the folks who are working around the clock trying to hold it all together.
Madam Vice President.
To ensure that no future harm would occur. And this election in 20 days will determine whether we have a president of the United States who actually cares more about fixing a problem, even if it is not to their political advantage in an election, because there was a solution, Brett.
Madam Vice President, it was.
Okay, first of all, before I continue, I just want to say this because you are full. She's full of sugar, honey, iced tea. I'm trying to be nice. I'm trying to be polite. I've been praying to God, trying to be nicer and kinder and all that other stuff. But she's full of sugar, honey, iced tea, bro. First of all, she wants to say 9 months ago we could have fixed this problem if Trump wouldn't have bullied everyone not to sign the bill. Okay, since time is so important to you, then how about this? 3 years ago, y'all could have fixed this issue, being that you had the Senate, you had the House, and you had a Democratic president who could have clearly, well, first of all, you ain't have to rip up all of the measures that Trump already had in place to keep illegal immigrants out of the country. You guys didn't have to rip that up, but you did it to make a political statement. And now you want to sit on your high horse. You want to sit on your soapbox and act as if you gave a crap. I wanted to say the F word, but I'm not. I wanted to say the F word, but I'm not. And now you want to sit on your soapbox and act as if you gave a crap. And you clearly did not. So all that time says that was our number one priority. Obviously, it was the number one priority to you too, because you started our conversation off with that question. Well, if it was a number one priority, how come you didn't freaking fix it? How come you ripped up the measures that were already in place and allowing quadruple the amount of illegal immigrants to come into our country? You didn't vet them. You didn't do anything, but you want to act like y'all been doing work. We've been working towards it. Basically, what that means in government employee speak, we've been having meetings. We've been meeting about it. For the last 3 years, we've been having meetings, and then we came up with this immaculate bill that was for $118 billion, where 61% of it was going to Ukraine, 13% of it was going to 12% of it was going to the border. So how in the hell was this a solution? She is so full of sugar. She don't want to accept any accountability whatsoever. My bad for interjecting, but come on, man. Accountability. You're not going to lose any points. As a matter of fact, for someone like myself, if she would have been honest, man, I would have been like, okay, yeah, she's honest about it. At least she's accepting the fact that they played a major part in what's going on with our border. But she's not even accepting a small teaspoon of it. Not even a teaspoon of it, man. I don't like that at all. Okay, let's get back into it. This is crazy.
It was a policy decision in the early part of your administration. I will let one of the mothers talk about it. Take a listen.
Oh my gosh.
Because of the Biden-Harris administration open border policies catch and release, they were enrolled in the Alternatives to Detention program. This meant that they were released into the United States It was not even a full 3 weeks later that they would take my daughter, Jocelyn Nungare's life. I believe the Biden-Harris administration open border policies are responsible for the death of my daughter.
That's
Wow.
the early days. But
Wow.
do you owe them an apology is what
I
I'm
will
saying.
tell you that I am so sorry for her loss.
The answer is hell no. She's not going to give them an apology, because if she apologizes, that means she accepts blame, she accepts accountability, and she does not take any accountability when it comes to this. So no, she's not about to apologize.
I'm so sorry for her loss. Sincerely. But let's
Pivot.
talk about what is happening right now with an individual who does not want to participate in solutions. Let's talk about that as well.
But do you
Brett,
want to answer
in all
her?
fairness, I told you, I feel awful for what she and her family have experienced.
During that time, you said repeatedly that the border was secure. When in your mind did it start becoming a crisis?
I think we've had a broken immigration system transcending, by the way, Donald Trump's administration even before. Let's all be honest about that. I have no pride in saying that this is a perfect immigration system. I've been clear, I think we all are, that it needs to be fixed. We need more. I was just down at the border talking with border agents, and they will tell you, and I'm sure you probably, I know you investigate and you are a serious journalist. They will tell you, we need more judges. We need to process those cases faster. We need the support for those cases that should be prosecuted. They need more resources, and Congress ultimately is the only place that that's going to get fixed, Brett.
Well,
that's how this system works.
That's the premise of this question.
But
There were
that's how the
90
system
plus
works.
executive orders that were rescinded in the first days. Many of those were Trump border policies. I'm not going to stay here because there's other things to talk about, but you frequently talk to the Border Patrol Union for support of that bipartisan bill, and they did. They supported it. But they also just endorsed Donald Trump and said, you've been, quote, a failure with border security. Why do you think they said that?
I think they're frustrated, and I get it. They want support. They want support, and that's what that border security bill would have done. These guys down at the border, these men and women, they're working hard. They're working around the clock. I get it.
Do you get that you were a part of the problem and not the solution for the last 3.5 years, lady? Ah, where's my slap midget? Where's my slap midget? Where's a slap midget when you need one? I need somebody daggone fill out these applications, and you got to meet the height requirements. You got to be smaller than 3'8". Okay, you got to be smaller than that. There's people been applying, and they've been 5'11" and 6'5". You just want to slap Kamala. Okay, don't apply for the job. Okay. All right. And I don't care if you're black, and I don't care if you're a woman and you're applying for it. You're not getting it just because you're a minority. All right. There's no affirmative action for this position. If you want to be the slap midget, you got to be below 3'8". Okay. All right. Don't just be applying because, ooh, I want to slap her. No, it doesn't work that way. This lady she's pissing me off, man. I want to say some stuff, but I'm not. Okay, let's jump back. Brett is doing an amazing job. This dude is pulling out receipts. He's pulling out receipts, man. That's what you need in a conversation. That's what you need. She is waiting. She's hoping and praying, dear Lord, let him leave this immigration conversation. Let's talk about something that's bubbly and make me feel good inside. And MSNBC said that she knocked it out the park. A brother on CNN said that she hit a home run with this interview. I'm not seeing it. Okay, let's go.
There's a lot of people that look back at what you said in 2019 when you first ran for president. And there have been changes, and you've talked about some of them. When it comes to immigration, you supported allowing immigrants in the country illegally to apply for driver's license, to qualify for free tuition at universities, to be enrolled in free health care. Do you still support those things?
Listen, that was 5 years ago, and I'm very clear that I will follow the law. I have made that statement over and over again, and as Vice President of the United States, that's exactly what I've done, not to mention before.
If that's the case, you chose a running mate, Tim Walz, governor of Minnesota, who signed those very things into state law. So do you support that?
We are very clear, and I am very clear, as is Tim Walz, that we must support and enforce federal law. And that is exactly what we will do.
So decriminalizing border crossings, like you said in 2019.
I do not believe in decriminalizing border crossings, and I've not done that as vice president. I will not do that as president.
So these are evolutions that you've had.
But let's be very clear. I'm the only person who's running for president who has prosecuted
Here we go.
transnational criminal
Here we go.
organizations, from the Sinaloa cartel,
Here
to
we
the
go.
Guadalajara cartel,
Uh-huh.
to people who have trafficked in guns, drugs, and human beings. I have
Yep.
spent a significant part of my career
Yeah, you have.
going after people who present a threat to the safety of the American people
Mm-hmm.
and cross our border with the intent of doing us harm and
Mhm.
cross our border illegally. And I will do that work as vice president. I take that work quite seriously.
This is a time when voters, especially here in
She said, and I will do that work as vice president. Check this out. You are full of sugar, honey, iced tea. She has nothing to stand on for the last 3.5 years. So she constantly brings up the times back in the day. I was in the courtroom and I was a bad mofo. Yeah, I was. Yeah, I was. I was a bad mofo when I was an attorney. What about when you was in the Senate? How many bills did you get passed? Huh? Were you able to sway anybody to pass anything that you wanted to get passed? Huh? At all. Just name one. Just one. No? What about the last 3.5 years? What have you done about what everybody is pissed off about when it comes to the border? Oh, you don't want to talk about that. Look, I've been clear, and so has Tim Walt's been clear, and we've all been super clear, like Windex. You have not been clear, goddaggit. We're not even clear of your nationality. Are you black? Are you Indian? Are you Jamaican man? Are you a blood clot Jamaican man? What are you? Van, be quiet. Okay, let's play it.
Pennsylvania are inundated with commercials and ads. They just want it to stop because it's every commercial. But many of them add noise, but a few of them seem to break through. This particular one from the Trump campaign has gotten a lot of attention.
Kamala supports taxpayer-funded sex changes for prisoners.
Surgery.
For prisoners.
For prisoners. Every transgender inmate in the prison system would have access.
So are you still in support of using taxpayer dollars to help prison inmates or detained illegal aliens to transition to another gender?
I will follow the law. And it's a law that Donald Trump actually followed. You're probably familiar with, now it's a public report, that under Donald Trump's administration, these surgeries were available on a medical necessity basis to people in the federal prison system. And I think, frankly, that ad from the Trump campaign is a little bit of like throwing stones when you're living in a glass house.
The Trump aides say that he never advocated for that prison policy and no gender transition surgeries
you know what? You got to
happened
take
during
responsible for what
his
happened in your
presidency.
administration.
Yeah.
Okay, so that right there is somebody that's just trying to win an argument. It's piss poor. It's reminiscent of somebody who's a liar. A wolf in sheep's clothing is what it is. You advocated for it. You fought for it. That's not the same as other people fighting for it while Trump was the president. That's different. It's completely different. They fought for it and they won. They was able to get it passed while Trump was the president. That's so different from you actually getting out there and stumping for it. I know she knows the difference, but this does not make you look good. Any Democrats that's in here, please let me know if I'm too harsh, if I'm just ignorant for not acknowledging that her pivots are on point. I get that she's trying to pivot, but this makes her look like a liar. It really does, man. Just tell the truth. Tell the truth, Ruth. You know what I mean? You ain't got a lie to kick it. People still gonna vote for you anyway because they are programmed to vote blue. I was one of those people. All right? I voted for Biden. I'm part of the reason why the borders are open like they are. My apologies. Never again, though. Okay, let's get back into it.
Yeah, no surgeries happened in this presidency.
It's in black and white.
Would you still advocate for using taxpayer dollars for gender reassignment
I will
surgeries?
follow the law.
I will follow the law.
You have
I
a
think
say
Donald
in
Trump would
this.
say he did.
you would have a say as president.
Like I said, I think it's real. He spent $20 million on those ads, trying to create a sense of fear in the voters because he actually has no plan in this election that is about focusing on the needs of the American people. Whereas at $20 million on that ad, on an issue that, as it relates to the biggest issues that affect the American people, it's really quite remote. And again, his policy was no different. Look at where we are, though.
They say
On
it was
plans for
different,
the
but
American
we'll move
people,
on.
I'm offering a plan to deal with affordable housing. I'm offering a plan to deal with what we need to do to strengthen small businesses, which are the backbone of America's economy. I am offering a plan that is about taking care of young parents and giving them the support they need. My plans for the economy will strengthen the economy, as have been reviewed by 16 Nobel laureates, Goldman Sachs, Moody's, and recently the Wall Street Journal, which have all studied our plans and have indicated my plans for our economy would strengthen our economy, his would make them weaker,
Why do you
would
think more
ignite
people
inflation and invite a recession by the middle of next year. Those are the facts.
Why do you think more people say they trust him on the economy than they trust you?
I think that when you look at an analysis of our plans for what we would do as president of the United States, it has been clear to those who study and understand how economic policy works that moving forward, because I do believe the American people are ready to turn the page on the divisiveness and the type of rhetoric that has come out of Donald Trump. People are ready to chart a new way forward, and they want a president who has a plan for the future and a plan that is sound and will strengthen our country. My plan for the economy does exactly that.
Did you offer your plans to Biden at all, like in private meetings? You know, while y'all, we did it, Joe. We did it, Joe. Like in the middle of those, you know, these intimate conversations, being that he trusted you and everything, did you consider offering those amazing plans that you have right now? You know, while you're the VP, when he'll actually listen to you and you had some power. You know what I mean? Did you offer those plans to Biden then? Did he just turn them down? Did he say, no, you, Kamala, I'm doing my own thing. Shut up, woman. Go in the kitchen and make me a sandwich. Did he treat you like that? Or did you just say, whatever Joe say, I'm with it. Whatever Joe say, I'm with it. Did you offer him those plans? That's all I want to know. Inquiring minds want to goddamn know. Thank y'all so much for the super chats, man. I really appreciate it. Y'all are absolutely dope, man. For real. All right, let's get back into it.
His plan would be, again, to give tax cuts to billionaires and the biggest corporations in our country and blow up our deficit.
It's interesting you said turn the page, Madam Vice President. You were asked on 2 different shows last week what, if anything, you would do differently than President Biden. Here's what you said.
Would you have done something differently than President Biden during the past 4 years?
There is not a thing that comes to mind in terms of, and I've been a part of most of the decisions that have had impact.
Under a Harris administration, what would the major changes be and what would stay the same?
Sure. Well, I mean, I'm obviously not Joe Biden.
I know.
And so that would be one
Talking
change.
points.
But also, I think it's important to say with, 28 days to go, I'm not Donald Trump.
So you're not Joe Biden, you're not Donald Trump, but nothing comes to mind that you would do differently?
Let me be very clear.
Okay.
My presidency will not be a continuation of Joe Biden's presidency. And like every new president that comes in to office, I will bring my life experiences, my professional experiences, and fresh and new ideas. I represent a new generation of leadership. I, for example, am someone who has not spent the majority of my career in Washington, D.C. I invite ideas, whether it be from the Republicans who are supporting me, who were just on stage with me minutes ago, and the business sector, and others who can contribute to the decisions that I make about, for example, my plan for increasing the supply of housing in America and bringing down the cost of housing, addressing the issue of small businesses, which is about working with the private sector to bring more capital and access to capital to our small business leaders, including my plan for a $25,000 down payment assistance for first-time home buyers and for small businesses, extending the tax deduction from $5,000 to $50,000.
We've heard a lot about those plans in recent days. Your campaign slogan is a new way forward, and it's time to turn the page. You've been vice president for 3.5 years. So what are you turning the page from?
Oh, my gracious, mic drop, bow. 2 mic drops, bang, bang. Those are mic, man. This dude is on point. I see why. They try to end this bad boy early. I see why 1,000% why they try to end this bad boy early. Mic drop after mic drop after mic drop. She is extremely disingenuous, man. Extremely. And I'm gonna let y'all know this. Since I voted blue all my life, when I hear her talk and when I see her in interviews, I actually try my best to give her the benefit of the doubt. I'm so serious. Like, and I'm trying to be extremely objective. I want her to represent herself properly. I see what she's trying to do here. She's trying to pivot and act as if she's new to it all. Like, I don't have friends in DC. I'm not from DC. You know, I'm not one of these guys that's just, rubbing shoulders with politicians. What the hell have you been doing for the last 3.5 years? Yes, you are. You're the VP. You've been rubbing shoulders. That's exactly what you've been doing for the last 3.5 years. You are Washington, D.C. now. Literally. You're not an outsider. But the way that she's trying to paint a picture, it's almost as if she's saying, she's talking about decorating the White House is what she's wanting. Like, when I come in, I'm different. I'm going to put in new drapes, new carpet, probably a new couch. I don't like the couch that's in there. New pictures, new paintings on the wall. Huh? I might change out a couple of the bushes. They ain't had no rose bushes. I'm going to put some rose bushes out there. I'm plant some tulips. Probably put some cactuses out there. I ain't see one cactus. So that's different between me and Biden. Biden ain't going to plant no cactus. I'm going to plant a cactus. Trump would never plant a cactus. You can go and ask anybody about that. I'm the only one that's going to plant a cactus at the White House. She's not sensible at all. Democrats, liberals, please let me know why in the hell you're supporting this lady. I don't get it. Guys, the only price of admission for my live streams is to simply hit the like button. We have 2,500 people up in here. I don't know if we have 2,500 likes on the video yet, but that's it, bro. If you're going to hang out with us, you know what I mean? You're going to chill with us, have conversations respectfully. Just hit the like button. That would be super dope. And I thank you in advance. All right, let's get back to it. This lady is tripping.
Well, first of all, turning the page from the last decade in which we've been burdened with the kind of rhetoric coming from Donald Trump that has been designed and implemented to divide our country and have Americans literally point fingers at each other. Rhetoric and an approach to leadership that suggests that the strength of a leader is based on who you beat down instead of what we all know. The strength of leadership is based on who you lift up. The strength of an American president, which is one who understands that the vast majority of us have more in common than what separates us.
Madam
That
Vice
is
President, more than
turning the
70% of people
That is
tell
about turning the
pollsters-
page on rhetoric that people are frankly exhausted of, Brett.
More than
People are
70% of people
exhausted.
tell the country is on the wrong track. They say the country is on the wrong track. If it's on the wrong track, that track follows 3.5 years of you being vice president and President Biden being president.
Another mic drop. My bad for yelling into the microphone, guys, but come on. Brett is the real MVP. 79% of people say that the country is on the wrong track. Kamala, newsflash here. I just want you to hear this, all right? Trump has a huge social media following. His X following is way bigger than yours. Even if you become president, if y'all cheat or something, or if people just say, you know what? I want to vote for this lady. I don't know. I'm feeling wild today. I'm feeling crazy. I usually get a margarita, but today I'm going to get a Long Island iced tea. Today I'm getting a Long Island iced tea. Because sometimes we get crazy as Americans. We're just nuts sometimes, right? But check this out. Even if you do become the president, Trump is still going to have a voice on social media. His rhetoric is not going to stop. his followers are still going to have a voice. You do know that. They're still going to hold your feet to the fire. They're going to hold you accountable. You do know that, right? Just because you cross the finish line and Obama and everybody else push you across that finish line, that don't mean that the rhetoric is going to stop or slow down. You do know that, right? I don't think she does. You are the page that you want to turn. Biden is the page. Don't go back 10, 20, 15, 30 years. Because when he mentioned something that you stood for, you said, but that was 5 years ago. That was 5 years ago. We're not here in 5 years. But now, turn the page, we want to go back 10 years. When was Trump? 2016? We want to go back to 2016. That's what we want to go back to. Not 2020 through 2024. We forget that. You know what I mean? Forget that. Let's act like that ain't even happened. Come on, bro. Come on, man. You cannot ignore that, especially if that's the biggest thing on your resume.
That is what they're saying, 79% of them. Why are they saying that? If you're turning the page, you've been in office for 3.5 years.
And Donald Trump has been running for office.
What?
So you've been the person holding the office.
Come on.
Madam
You
Vice
and I
President.
both know what I'm talking about. You and I both know what I'm
I
talking
actually
about.
don't. What are you talking about?
What I'm talking about is that over the last decade,
But you're
people
the
have
lever of
become,
power.
but listen, over the last decade, it is clear to me, and certainly the Republicans who are on stage with me, the former chief of staff to the president, Donald Trump, former defense secretaries, national security advisor, and his vice president. One, that he is unfit to serve, that he is unstable, that he is dangerous, and that people are exhausted with someone who professes to be a leader who spends full time demeaning and engaging in personal grievances and it being about him
Madam
instead
Vice
of
President,
the American people. People are tired of that.
If that's the case, why is half the country supporting him? Why is he beating you in a lot of swing states? Why, if he's as bad as you say, that half of this country is now supporting this person who could be the 47th president of the United States? Why is that happening?
This is an election for president of the United States. It's not supposed to be easy.
I know, but
It's not supposed to be. It is not supposed to be a cakewalk for anyone.
So are they misguided, the 50%? Are they stupid? What is it?
I would never say that about the American people. And in fact, if you listen to Donald Trump, if you watch any of his rallies, he's the one who tends to demean and belittle and diminish the American people. He's the one who talks about an enemy within, an enemy within.
Okay, shut the hell up. Shut the hell up. Only reason why I say shut the hell up is because, again, I watch everybody's speeches, rallies, interviews, all of that other stuff. And something that she's doing, y'all know the what can be unburdened by what has been thing, the things that she no longer says because she know that we have caught up to that. She no longer says what can be unburdened by what has been. What she's currently saying on everywhere she goes, written in all of her speeches, is about the enemy within. The enemy within? The enemy within. You know what that means, right? The enemy within. It's the enemy, not without. But the enemy within. Trump don't like the enemy within, but he loved the enemy without. But if you go without, how can you have within? Ladies, shut that. This is potentially your next president, guys. This is nuts. Thank y'all so much for the super chats and for all the love, for all the comments. Y'all are absolutely amazing. Don't forget to hit the like button on the video, man. Let me go back just a little second or two because I need to hear her enemy within thing. Okay, let's go.
Demean and belittle and diminish the American people. He's the one who talks about an enemy within, an enemy within, talking about the American people, suggesting he would turn the American military on the American people.
We asked that question to the former president today. Harris Faulkner had a town hall, and this is how he responded.
I heard about that. They were saying I was like threatening. I'm not threatening anybody. They're the ones doing the threatening. They do phony investigations. I've been investigated more than Alphonse Capone. He was the greatest gangster. No, it's true. But think of it. It's called weaponization of government. It's a terrible thing.
So,
Brett, I'm sorry, and with all due respect, that clip was not what he has been saying about the enemy within that he has repeated when he's speaking about the American people. That's not what you just showed.
He was
Okay, first of all, use some context clues, ladies. You're extremely intelligent. You practice law. You're a VP right now. You know exactly what he was talking about. He has been investigated more than a mob boss. This dude has been attacked by you and your cronies because you didn't want him to be able to run against you. You wanted to drain his pocketbook, all of his banks. Let's take all of his money. Shout out to Letitia James, aka Respucia. Shout out to Respucia James, who went after his pocketbook, and it looked like he might be getting it all back, baby. Huh? But you knew what he was talking about. The enemy within is you, Biden, all your cronies, all the people that's trying to attack him right now. You know what he's saying. But no, you didn't go to a clip where he's actually saying that line. It's the line, not the meaning behind the line, but I want to hear the line, the actual line. I need to hear him say it. You act like a little ass sister that's just upset with your big brother, and you just want him to get in trouble so bad. But mommy, he hit me first. He took my cookie. He did this. He clicked me up. He made a face at me. He licked his tongue out at me when you weren't looking. All she wants to hear is the line. No, the context is more important. That's what I thought. I mean, we're all adults, right? Right? Let me be quiet, man. I swear to goodness, this right here is good. It's getting gooder and gooder. Brett Bear, you are on point, bruh.
Repeated when he's speaking about the American people. That's not what you just showed.
he was asked about that specific.
No, that's not what you just showed. In all fairness and respect to you,
that was the question that we asked him.
You didn't show that, and here's the bottom line. He has repeated it many times, and you and I both know that. And you and I both know that he has talked about turning the American military on the American people. He has talked about going after people who are engaged in peaceful protest. He has talked about locking people up because they disagree with him. This is a democracy.
Okay, so you, all right, going after people who have staged a peaceful protest. I just now did a live stream yesterday about Bevelyn Beatty Williams, who was protesting an abortion clinic. And while she was protesting, she messed up the 150 abortions that they had scheduled for the day. They had to get rid of those 150 abortions. They could not unalive all them babies. And what did they end up doing? Yesterday was the start of her 3.5-year sentence for a peaceful protest where nobody got hurt. You want to talk about peaceful protests? I don't see you trying to pardon her. I don't see you talking about her at all. Y'all probably laughing at her. Y'all probably wish that she got the death penalty or something like that. Come on, man. Listen to me. If you are a liberal or Democrat, I need y'all to really see what she is doing here, man. Really see what she's doing. And this is from a guy who is a novice that voted Democrat all my life from Southeast DC. And I wasn't no in the house type of nerd type of dude. Not that there's anything wrong with nerds, because nerds have taken over the world and I love y'all. And I actually turned into one. I actually turned into a nerd. But I was outside. I didn't have my mother nor father raising me. So I was taught to vote blue no matter who. And that's what I did. But then when I started paying attention, come on now, that's why we're here. So this lady is so disingenuous, it's crazy. If it doesn't move toward her winning the argument or winning the conversation or winning the day, she don't even want to listen to it. This is crazy, man. Let me get back to it. I'm talking too much. And thank y'all so much for the super chats, for all the love, for all the comments, all of that. Y'all are dope. Hit that like button if you haven't already.
And in a democracy, the president of the United States, in the United States of America.
And also, one last thing. It's a republic, my dear. It's a republic. This is a democracy. No, it's not. And she said it with her chest, too. This is a democracy. Who the hell told you that? Who told you that? I want to talk to them. I want to talk to their mother. Go get their mother. I want to talk to them. My dear Vice President, you should know this already. Okay, let me be quiet. Let's go.
Should be willing to be able to handle criticism without saying he'd lock people up for doing it. And this is what is at stake, which is why you have someone like the former chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff saying what Mark Milley has said about Donald Trump being a threat to the United States of America.
He's quoted in the Bob Woodward book that way, yes. Let me ask you this,
No,
Madam Vice President.
but
You call
let's not
Donald
diminish
Trump.
the significance
you
of that.
call Donald Trump. He's misguided. You say now
He's
he
unstable.
is unstable.
He is unstable, Brett.
He's not well. You say he's mentally not stable.
He's not stable.
Let me ask you this. You told many interviewers that Joe Biden was on his game, that ran around circles on his staff. When did you first notice that President Biden's mental faculties appeared diminished?
Joe Biden.
She was stuck. Did y'all see that? She was stuck. Her face was stuck. Oh, I didn't know you was going to ask me about that. So the importance of this question is not for him to be a bully. The importance of this question is to see if she would admit to lying, because this says something about your character moving forward as a potential president of the United States of America. If you cannot stand on business when it comes to this, come on. She was stuck. Oh, watch her face. Oh, watch this.
Ran around circles on his staff. When did you first notice that President Biden's mental faculties appeared diminished?
Joe Biden, I have watched from the Oval Office to the Situation Room, and he has the judgment and the experience to do exactly what he has done in making very important decisions on behalf of the American people.
There were no concerns raised?
Brett, Joe Biden is not on the ballot.
I understand.
And Donald Trump
But
is.
you talked about it.
And Donald Trump
After George Clooney said within a few minutes of talking to President Biden at a fundraiser that he thought this was not the same Joe Biden that we saw on the debate stage.
Donald Trump is on the ballot.
I understand. You met with him at least once a week for 3.5 years. You didn't have any concerns?
I think the American people have a concern about Donald Trump, which...
Come on, lady. Come on. How many times you going to talk about Trump? This is about you, babe. I apologize to say that, but come on, Kamala. Sweetie, sugar pop, sugar pie, honey bunch. Why you keep dodging the questions? You can't help yourself. You hate Trump and nobody else. Doop, 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 doop. That was off the top of the head. All right, let's get back to it.
Which is why the people who know him best, including leaders of our national security community, have all spoken out. Even people who worked for him in the Oval Office, worked with him in the Situation Room, and have said he is unfit and dangerous and should never be president of the United States again, including his former vice president, which is why the job was open for him to choose another running mate. So that is a fact. That is a fact.
Madam Vice President, two more things. You were asked on 60 Minutes about the biggest threat that the world faces, that the U.S. faces. This is what you said.
Which foreign country do you consider to be our greatest adversary?
I think there's an obvious one in mind, which is Iran. Iran has American blood on their hands, okay? This attack on Israel, 200 ballistic missiles. What we need to do to ensure that Iran never achieves the ability to be a nuclear power, that is one of my highest priorities.
A number of experts thought you would say China. The FBI director had said that. But you said Iran. If that's the case, what do you say to critics who look at the actions of your administration and say you're not acting like Iran is the #1 threat?
Well, I will tell you most recently, whether it was in April or in October, and then several hours on each occasion that Iran posed a threat to Israel, I was there. Most recently in the Situation Room, in the most recent attack, working with the heads of our military and doing what America must always do to defend and to support Israel in its requirement to defend itself. and to give American support to be able to allow Israel to have the resources to defend itself against attack, including from Iran and Iran's terrorist proxies in the region.
Right.
And that
But those
is,
proxies were getting
and
funded
my
by Iran.
commitment to that is unyielding and unwavering.
Critics just say that you either relaxed or failed to enforce sanctions on Iran, allowing all of this money to flow into Iran, like billions.
Let's go back to
oil
Donald
profits.
Trump, who pulled out of a deal that would have actually put
But here are
Iran in check.
the estimates
and then
in billions
it was during Donald Trump's
that go
administration
towards
that
the Iran regime.
that we had an American military base that was attacked, where American soldiers suffered traumatic brain injuries.
All right, don't bring up no on traumatic brain injuries when you would duck and dodge every single thing that came across your daggone table. Also, I'm sure she won't want to discuss Afghanistan and how we moved up out of there and who we left behind. She also don't want to discuss the 13 Gold Star members, family members of those slain in Afghanistan because of how they handled it. She don't want to discuss any of that at all. But she want to talk about how some people in the military got some what was Trump fault? Some headaches. You know, not headaches. I'm not trying to downplay it, but I'm just saying she always want to talk up about what Trump has done, but she don't ever want to acknowledge anything that she and Biden have done because she wants to turn the page. And somebody mentioned turning the page would actually be a great thing. Turning the page would be a phenomenal thing. That means you're no longer in the book. You do realize that, right? If we turn the page and you were in the last couple of pages, you was in the last 3.5 pages, 3.5 years worth of pages, and we're turning the page, maybe we should really turn the page, right? That's just my 2 pennies, but who am I?
Regime.
That we had an American military base that was attacked, where American soldiers suffered traumatic brain injuries, and Donald Trump dismissed them as headaches, not to mention how Donald Trump has
all of this money
has treated
that
and
has
talked
gone
about
in the
America's
past few
military
years.
and military service people,
Critics
calling
say
them
that it goes to
suckers and
Hezbollah,
losers,
Hamas,
has diminished
and
the
Houthis.
significance.
We're talking over each other. I apologize. But you're not.
I would like that we would have a conversation
You
that is
wouldn't.
grounded
You
in
wouldn't.
full assessment of the facts, which
wouldn't.
includes, I think this interview is supposed to be about the choices that your viewers should be presented about this election, and the contrast is important.
Yes, ma'am.
And on the subject of Iran, I am offering what should be an important contrast that is presented for folks to make a
And there
decision
are
that
critics
they
who
feel.
look at what the administration did and say and think differently. Madam Vice President, they're wrapping me very hard here. I hope you got to say what you wanted to say about Donald Trump. There are a lot of things.
There's more to say. I have much more to say,
There are a lot of
actually.
things that people want to learn about you and your policies, and
Yes.
that's why we
I
invited
invite
you
everyone
here.
to go to kamalaharris.com.
How about you invite everybody to listen to Kamala Harris as she's sitting right here, which makes no sense after I said it, but they can hear directly from your mouth what you represent, rather than you constantly trying to throw Trump under the bus for something that you are responsible for. You wouldn't even apologize to the victims of your decision-making or lack thereof. That is unfortunate. You all need to make sure you remember this when you go to the voting booth. It sucks, man. It absolutely sucks.
And you will see that I have 80 pages of policies that are quite comprehensive and should be accessible to anyone who would like to read them. And it includes what I intend to do about affordable housing, what I intend to do about small businesses, what I do
And that's why
intend
we
to do to
invited you
strengthen our
here,
economy,
to see where you were in 2019 and where you are
support
now.
America's military and ensure we have the most lethal and best fighting force in the world.
Madam Vice President,
And
they're giving me a hard rap
Well,
here.
I thank you for the time.
I thank you for the time.
It's good to meet you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hey, Sean Hannity.
She don't thank you for the time. Okay, my assessment is this. You were not good in this interview. You was absolutely horrendous in this interview. Kamala Harris, VP Kamala Harris. That was not good at all. Trump sat down in front of Bloomberg, and it was a whole, studio filled with business people. And the gentleman that was interviewing him did not agree with Trump at all on anything. Trump had to prove himself that he was knowledgeable enough to be able to hold a conversation with these business guys and show that he knew what he was talking about, to show that he had a better plan. He very seldomly brought up Biden. He definitely didn't bring up Kamala as much either. But today he did when he was talking to Patrick Bet-David on Valuetainment, just acknowledging the fact that, wait a minute, this conversation we're having, I know that Kamala would not be able to have this conversation. And that's unfortunate. She has to have a basic understanding in order to lead this country, but she does not. What they're telling Kamala is just get across the finish line. You'll be the mouthpiece. We'll be the brain. We'll make sure that you're okay. Obama already has a team in place. We just need a quarterback. That's all we need. We just need a quarterback or a mascot while Obama is the quarterback. We just need you to, represent. And that's unfortunate. She did not do good at all. But I want to hear what y'all got to say about this. Please let me know if you believe that Kamala, if you think that she's going to get more votes from this, or if she's going to get less votes from this. Do you think that this was a career ruiner? Do you think that Democrats care enough to look at this conversation objectively? Do you think that most Democrats actually watched that interview? I doubt they did, because when you go to the comments section, and I'm just going to show y'all right here, when you go to the comments section of this video we just now watched, it's crazy. Now I've checked out CNN's assessment of it, and they think that she knocked it out of the park. But there was one guy on here. Listen to this. Let me be clear. I was raised in a middle-class family. I was a prosecutor, and it's Donald Trump's fault. She did give one good answer to the question of why have the border control endorsed President Trump. And she said, because they are frustrated and they want support. Nailed it. Aren't you the support they were supposed to get? This right here says we never had a broken immigration system. We have had an unenforced immigration system with a policy of open borders. Shout to Biden and Kamala. I watched this video while being raised in a middle-class family. I really can't understand why she just can't answer the questions directly without bringing up Trump. Thanks, Brett, for getting her out. And this goes on and on and on and on and on and on and on. But I've talked too much already. You guys are absolutely phenomenal. Thank you so much for all of the commentary that y'all gave. External Influence, thank you for the super chat. Amy Allen, the Secretary of State in Oregon, has removed Trump and Vance from the website. Oh my gracious. I left Oregon 3 years ago to South Dakota. Everyone needs to call them out. This is election interference. Absolutely. They're doing whatever they possibly can. 20 days to go or something like that. Yeah, absolutely. They're pulling out all the big guns. As a matter of fact, the biggest thing on the street is Kamala and everybody on the Democrat side is saying, what are we going to do? We got to do one thing. I know what we can do. We need to debate them. Let's try to bully them into debating. That's what we can do. Even Biden came out talking about they helped Biden over to the microphone. Okay, sir, you ready? You know your lines? You got it? And this brother said, Trump is too much of a girly man to debate Kamala. CNN is saying Trump is ducking and dodging a debate with Kamala. MSNBC is saying Trump refuses to debate Kamala. CBS is saying Trump refuses to debate. That's all it is now. It's a last-ditch effort to put her side by side with him and for her to say her talking points, for her to try to gaslight him, and for her to not acknowledge anything that she and Biden have done together because she's trying to separate herself. But when she separates herself, what is she standing on? She's standing on years of attorney, what you call it? She was attorney for a long time, and she was raised in a middle-class household, and she was a senator that couldn't get anything passed. She didn't get any votes to become the president at all. She didn't get any votes before they forced her into it after the soft coup of Biden. This lady she's off her rocker. But I will say this. All of my moderators, y'all are absolutely phenomenal. Everybody who helped out in this conversation, thank you so much. Everybody who participated in super chats, Dexter Rolfe, thank you so much. Nikki's wife, thank you so much. Too tall, 6'8", 6'8". You definitely cannot be my slap midget. You're way too tall. Robert Lane, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Ryan J, thank you so much. I really appreciate you pulling up and adding your commentary. Stormy Young, 1, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. You are absolutely phenomenal. Dallas D, thank you for the support. She just pulled up and said, look, this first time catching a live, and I'm just supporting one of my favorite channels. I appreciate that. That means a lot. I'm working on becoming better. Bullpup, J Mac, thank you so much. Nana Peggy, thank you for the love. Dexter Ralph, thank you again. Shannon and Terry K, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And Jesus is my king too. And Amy Allen, thank you so much. I really appreciate the love. Shout out to South Dakota. Screw Oregon for being so lopsided and ridiculous. No screw Oregon. Just the people who are in charge, you know what I mean, that's making these plays they're making so that they can sneak somebody into office. That's just dumb. External influence. And Kix Reacts, thank you so much for pulling up, my brother. Accusing your political opponent of being guilty of doing what you are already doing is the first rule of communism/socialism. It completely describes the Democratic Party. Do you agree? Yes, I agree. Thank y'all so much for being a part of our live stream today. I will see you guys later with another hot piece of content. And make sure if you haven't already, hit the like button for me. That would be extremely amazing. Y'all are absolutely dope. Love y'all. Peace.